Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
So, I just want to thank Bill Gravy and Dan and Al for organising this tonight. And I want to hear any questions now or comments you might have. Yeah, I like to say that this is a film. There's all the executive producers. I like to say this is a film. It's about fracking, but it's also about journalism. Imagine if you were in a house somewhere and somebody in a baseball cap across the table said to you, "I've got 3 types of uranium in my water, 2 of them weapons grade." I can hear some people laughing there. I mean, that's the normal response of normal people. The journalist went to that man's house and he said, "I've got 3 types of uranium in my water, 2 of them weapons grade." And they wrote it down, and it was in German TV, it was in Japanese TV, Chinese TV, it was in American TV, it was in 60 minutes, 40 minutes, 9 minutes, whatever minutes it was everywhere. And, the first thing a journalist should do when someone says, "I've got 3 types of uranium in my water, 2 of them weapons grade," is, where's the scientific report to back that up? It didn't exist. I mean, if this filmmaking thing doesn't work out for me, I'm going to retire, move to Dimmock, bottle the water and sell it to the Iranian Secret Service. Because they're crazy, this idea of them, digging into mountains and buying centrifuges in the black market. Just go to Dimmock, get the water, there were the 3 types of uranium, 2 of them weapons grade, and they'll have all the nuclear bombs they want. I mean, that's how ludicrous it is. But journalists, I think, have done a disservice to this story by repeating allegation as fact. When someone alleges their water is contaminated, that's great, it's a great story, but we need to check it, and we need the science behind it. And when they're proven wrong by the EPA scientists, then that needs to be reported. And then they need to be followed up and says, "Would you like to apologise now to the people of Dimmock for saying that about your water?" That's journalism. This man in the orange.
I just want to point out that New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is not shy about trying to ban large Coca-Cola and this and that. Is an incredibly vocal, enthusiastic supporter of fracking, especially if it cuts back on our reliance on coal burning plants. And yet you would not know about Michael Bloomberg and what he had to say if you only read the local papers.
Yeah. I'm not sure, Michael Bloomberg, yes, I think the papers need to, initially when a lot of people made a lot of allegations, that's fine, it's good, that's reported and makes a good headline. But the science is in now. To quote Al Gore, the science is settled. The water in Dimmock's not polluted. There were 11 families in Dimmock, Pennsylvania. 11 litigants. 1,500 people signed a petition to say our water. Actually, I was going to say the water's fine. Actually, the petition actually said our water's awful, but it's always been awful. I'm paraphrasing slightly there, but I think that was the gist of the petition. And those 1,500 people, 11 litigants were suing a gas company. That's 1%. So the TV and journalists came in and represented the 1% and ignored the 99%. We hear a lot about the 99%. The 99% that said the water was fine. Yoko Ono went and hugged the 1%. Mark Ruffalo is a friend of the 1%. He is the 1%. I think this has been one thing the environmental movement has done, is cast itself as the underdog. They're not. They're the millionaires and billionaires. gentleman at the back, the far back.
Yeah, I want to say, my name is Russell. I'm a 25-year-old houseless college student, and I'm here today because I wanted to see this side of the story. And I just wanted to say I look like pretty much the youngest person here, and I go to a lot of town board meetings all around Orange and Ulster County and Dutchess County of New York. And I would just say to everyone that's in here, like, one, follow the money. Two, also the fact that to grow food, we need water. And there are 6 banks in the world that own all of the water supply. So with places that don't have energy, it's because their energy is being taken from them and given to rich nations so that they can recycle it and give you bottled water. And that's the privatization of water. And in China, they sell people canned air. And that's because of the industrial explosion there in China, with them producing solar panels and wind turbines. I'd also say that I would say a lot of people are going through foreclosures in New York, and a lot of people are farmers, and a lot of people are dealing with Monsanto, who is a big corporation that owns all of the food supply in our country. And other countries have banned Monsanto from their countries because of not labeling GMOs. And if labeling our food and the GMOs that are in our food was like not a big deal, they would do it, but they won't label our food. And to grow food, we need water. And even if these people in the EPA are saying the water's not contaminated, it's more the fact of without Earth, there are no jobs. And I'm thinking about the children and the land that we were, like, that's not ours. Our Earth was here before.
Yeah, you made a lot of points there. Yes, GMOs are banned in Europe. You do not want to follow Europe's example, I think. I think we've established that fact that there's a certain economic crisis going on in Europe at the moment. Unemployment in Spain is 27%.
Same thing here.
The biggest, 27%, 27. The biggest export Ireland has at the moment is not its beautiful, non-GMO food, it's its people. I don't need to tell people from upstate New York about exporting young people. You've been doing it for generations. I made a documentary called Mind Your Own Business, where it was about environmentalists stopping a mining project in a remote Romanian village. They looked at poverty. It's the same here, actually. These outsiders, they come and they see quaint buildings, which is actually poverty, and they mistake poverty as a culture, as a way of life. They want to preserve it. People who live in it know that it's crap, but they see it, they think, oh, it's beautiful, oh, it's quaint, we can't change it. Well, we can. Anyway, the people in that village, the mine never took off because the environmentalists stopped it. And I was in touch with some people from the village the other day in Romania. People in that village in Romania have gone to Greece because the economy there is better.
Greece is a revolution.
So that's the legacy. You're thinking about the children. That's the legacy for the children of those villages in Romania, and the legacy of people here: chronic unemployment, foreclosures, and a millionaire and billionaire's playground. So next question. This lady here in front.
Hi, I just want to say I'm 27 years old, so I only got you beat by a couple of years.
I'm glad to see you here. Thank you.
I'm a mother of 2, and I live on a farm. And my husband and I both work full-time jobs to continue to live on the farm that we have. And without fracking in our area, we are going to lose our farmlands, and our kids are not going to have a base. So yes, it's not just about the money, but the nice open vacant lands that we have are going to be gone. So
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Thank you. This gentleman in the orange or red.
You might keep yourself in gun control. We don't regulate. We don't.
I can't speak. I can
Problem with the whole industry, whether it's the health industry, the farming industry, or even the fuel industry, is that, I get a little nervous. But gun control, they allow people to get guns without doing background checks. For guns, but they don't do background checks. They don't check the wells. BP did it big. You know, the pipeline under Yellowstone, you know, the Arkansas. There are so many fuel, you know, companies that cut corners. All the industries, whether it's the medical, the agriculture, they're not rich, you know, there's no inspectors. You know, I want state control over most of, you know, the states. I don't want, you know, the federal government to have all the control, but we need federal regulation. And we need the fuel industry regulated. The wells inspected. Only 1% of the wells are inspected every year. After they're okay, they go through the DEC. Nobody's inspecting them, that they use the right concrete, that they, you know.
Sorry, sir.
You know,
is there a question?
And we have, okay, we have solar, and we have wind. We have never talked about the ocean. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, this fossil fuel is prehistoric. It should have been, you know, they talked about it, you know, when I was a kid. And nobody, it's the fuel, it's the industries, it's the corporate America that is poisoning all of us. And it's the banking, it's the agriculture.
Well, okay, can I just say that for a nation that is poisoned, you're looking very well. You know, I live in California where 90-year-olds jog on the beach. It's very interesting, you know, you talk about fossil fuels being prehistoric.
Prehistoric.
Yeah, I'm not from around these parts, as you can guess from my accent. From Idaho, actually. No, not. But when I first came to America, I was told these people in America are called conservatives, who are backward looking, who look, you know, back to this golden age, you know, these old-fashioned people called conservatives. And then there was these radicals, and they were called progressives, and they, you know, they looked forward and they were progressive. And I got here, and I found that the progressives didn't believe in progress. You know, that progressives, they worship the sun and the wind. You know, they wanted solar panels, they worship the sun, they wanted windmills. Windmills were got rid of in Holland 400 to 500 years ago because they were useless. And now the young radical progressives want to bring them back into America. That's prehistoric.
I agree.
That's prehistoric. You know, I'm staying in the Villa Rosa, which is, you know, I'm sure you all know the Villa Rosa, and I was walking past the table yesterday.
The Villa Roma.
Rosa. Potato, tomato, burrito. And I was walking past this table. You know, there's a certain demographic there at this time of year. Walking past the table with a group of people whose average age, I would say, was 80, you know. And I was just walking past, and of course I'm a journalist, and I always listen. I tell a little story, and I listen as I walk past sometimes. I just like to hear what people are saying. And I just heard this old woman saying, "Things change," and all the other people went, "They certainly do," with a big laugh. You know, and what they were saying was, things change and we have to change too. If you walk past a bunch of 20-year-old environmentalists, you'll never hear them say things change and we have to change too. They don't want change. They don't want progress. You know, so they want to go backwards. There's this anti-change idea, anti-progress. You know, the conservatives are the ones who are embracing new technology, the progressives are the ones embracing old technology. It's a very interesting, I think conservatives need to change their name, they need a brand overhaul. Next question. There's a gentleman at the back.
You use the expression weapons-grade uranium or something like that, kind of a buzzword.
I didn't. Craig Sartner used it. Craig Sartner out of Dimmock, Pennsylvania used it, and he's quoted in Gasland using it too, just to clear the record.
Would you categorically say that there's no radon in Marcellus? It's a wet gas. Is there no radon?
Excuse me, I come from Northern Ireland. There's radon in Northern Ireland. Yes, there's radon. But do you think there's weapons-grade uranium in Craig Sartner's water?
I thought I was asking the question.
Yeah, I'm asking the question. Do you believe there's weapons grade uranium in Dimmock's water?
No.
Okay. So how do you assess the credibility? How do you assess the credibility of someone who would say that? I mean, this is journalists, and people need to say. And if you call yourself a moderate environmentalist, then you need to say, I disown Craig and Julie Southner for lying. And I know you're not supposed to use that word, you're supposed to say misrepresent and exaggerate. No, they lied. They lied. And the reason they lied for money and celebrity. Mark Ruffalo came and hugged them. Yoko Ono came and hugged them. Personally, I would have to be paid to have Yoko Ono hug me, but each to his own. But I'd rather have Mark Ruffalo hug me, actually. Nothing wrong with that. Don't want it in ADs, but so yes, and next question. This gentleman here. Oh, he's going to ask me how was interviewing Bill Gray? Terrible.
I saw the movie
Where's Bill?
where you chased Josh Hawkins to the movie theater or to the library there and let you be interviewed. They threw you out. That just happened in New York at the Tribeca Film Festival too. I was one of my ones that was there, and we were not allowed in, and we weren't misbehaving. We weren't doing anything other than asking the same questions that you asked. And we weren't allowed in the theater. And yet, we had never, ever told an anti they could not come to our meetings.
Yeah.
Even when they stood outside protesting before the meeting, we still let them come in. Because we want them to ask tough questions, because we have the right answers.
Yeah. I think, to be fair to environmentalists, the media has not done them a great service. The media, for 40 years, the media has treated them as nice people, good people. The people with the sandals and the woolly jumper and the hairy face, and that's just the women, Media have treated environmentalists as nice people who tell the truth, who are good. I now want. What I do is I treat big environment the same way as big business. So, if big environment says I've got 3 types of uranium in my water, 2 of them weapons grade, I want to see the evidence. If big business says the water is clean, I want to see the evidence. There was a gentleman there talking about accountability of corporations. What accountability does Sierra Club have? If BP lie, the chief executive can go to prison. They can be fined $20 billion.
That's easy when they print the money.
If Greenpeace or the Sierra Club lie, they get an increase in donations. And it's in their interest to lie or to exaggerate. And so they exaggerate about something, and then the next day, when it's found to be wrong, remember those awful posters from the 70s, love means never having to say you're sorry, it was a kitten on it or something like that, horrible poster.
Remember victory gardens?
And I think being an environmentalist means never having to say you're sorry. You just create a scare, get the media, get the money, get something banned, and a few years later when you're proven wrong, you're on to the next scare. Just like this gentleman here, he's on to radon now. Well, let's talk about the weapons grade uranium first. Let's talk about the breast cancer. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. You can't have all these scares, and when they're proven wrong, ask us to take you seriously about the next scare. As they say in your American TV court dramas, goes to credibility, Your Honour. How much credibility do these people have now? They were wrong about weapons grade uranium, wrong about the water in Dimmock, wrong about flammable water, wrong about breast cancer, wrong about earthquakes. I mean, sorry, 3 strikes and you're out. You've had more than 3. I'm now not taking you seriously. That's what the media should say. Why should we take you seriously? Why can we believe you? Next question, please. This person waving frantically. No, I'm not taking questions from you. I'm joking. Inga, how are you?
I'm just Billy, I just want to say, the Saunders, after they left Dimmock, they bought a house in New York State, 7 acres, and that has gas leaks on it. So much for their credibility.
So much for their what?
Thank you.
Credibility.
Yeah. No, I mean, even better, Yoko Ono lives in the Dakota building in New York, and they've had to, thanks to Mayor Bloomberg banning oil-fired generators, they've had to change their method of heating, and they had all these choices. And what did they choose? Natural gas. Because it's convenient and it's handy and it comes on when you light it. I mean, honestly, folks, if any of you get the chance to go and see a documentary called "Scatter My Ashes" at Bergdorf Goodman, it just came out of the weekend. It's in New York. It's about Bergdorf Goodman, this good shop. There's a little part in it where the shopkeepers are complaining about the bad winter they had in 2008 and they haven't sold enough furs. And they got a phone call on Christmas Eve from Yoko Ono to go to her apartment. She wanted to do some last-minute Christmas shopping. Yoko Ono's last-minute Christmas shopping was $2.5 million worth of furs. $2.5 million worth of furs. I don't know what Peter think of that. That's the kind of person who wants you, stop you getting $3,000 an acre for your land. Someone who spent $2.5 million in furs and who's just installed natural gas heating. I don't know how you control yourselves here. It's just unbelievable. This gentleman at the back. No, this gentleman. You already asked a question. Yes, you. Yes. On the left, that gentleman. Oh, sorry. Okay.
You know, I've been in this county for over 70 years, and I'm looking at statistics. Our schools in Sullivan County have 40% fewer students today than they had 40 years ago. Our unemployment rate is well over 9%. It's a false figure at that because they don't count the people that are working part-time, and if you're part-time, you can't survive. The thing that makes me the sickest is that over 20% of the children in this county do not know where their next meal is coming from. My question is, what is behind this? I mean, it's been proven out and out. Your air, your water, and your land are not going to get destroyed by fracking. Modern technology is not Grandpa's method. What I want to know is what's behind the people that call themselves environmentalists. My opinion is that they just do not want their peace and tranquility disturbed with the trucks and so forth. But there's another piece. There are three very wealthy individuals and with their big organizations involved in fighting this. I'm not going to mention the name, but it's connected to a local organization. But I will mention Larry Rockefeller, who bought up thousands of acres in the Beaver Kill Valley. I will mention Bobby Kennedy. There are big, big bucks, and I think they're in Mr. Cuomo's pocket, preventing us from making a livelihood. Drive around this county and look at the roofs of these quaint little homes that you mentioned. A large number of them need shingles at $5,000 to $8,000. Our people can't do it. We can't survive. Somebody's got to put a stop to these idiots that call themselves environmentalists.
I happen to think that the word quaint is one of the most evil words in the English language. I hate that word with passion. Quaint is a word used by really, really rich people to make themselves feel better about poor people. You know? And it's a way of keeping poor people poor. You asked what's behind it, what's behind environmentalism. You've got the Southerners. They are they're interested in money and they're interested in fame. I think you guys have a bank robber here called Willie Sutton, Willie Loman, Willie Sutton, one of those. And people said, why do you rob banks? He says, that's where the money is. Why do you sue a gas company? That's where the money is. So they sue a gas company for money, and Mark Ruffalo comes and helps them. Josh Fox is a different character. I think he's a genuine true believer. He believes that the oil and gas company is evil and is polluting. He just doesn't have the evidence for it, but he thinks he does, or he thinks it's there somewhere. When you see Gasland 2, you'll see him dismiss the findings in Dimock, Pennsylvania, because he can read them better than the EPA. There's actually a scene of him at a table reading the findings from Dimock, Pennsylvania, and he dismisses the EPA results. So Professor Fox has got a PhD now. But he's a genuine true believer. anti-fossil fuel, he's anti-corporation, anti-business, anti-American fossil fuel. He doesn't mind Saudi Arabian fossil fuels, he doesn't mind Venezuelan fossil fuels, he doesn't mind Iranian fossil fuels, it's just American fossil fuels. He's a Manhattan boy who so you talk there about people, people who come here and don't want to try and quality ruin with trucks. I talked to a farmer recently and he says his definition of an environmentalist is someone who built a vacation home last year. And there's a lot of that. But Josh Fox, he's a genuine anti-American. He made a movie before he made Gasland 2, which was called Memorial Day, which portrays American troops as rapists and murderers. He's a self-described avant-garde theatre director. That's what he did before he made documentaries, an avant-garde theatre director. Now, I'm from Europe. I'm going to translate the phrase avant-garde. It's French. Avant-garde means basically anti-American. It's not really the translation, but that's really what it is. That's what it means in Manhattan, avant-garde. So that's what he does. That's where he comes from. He's a true believer. You need to attack him on the science, and he won't believe you, but the science is with you guys, and you need to push the science. Next question. This gentleman on the back there, sorry.
I just first want to praise your excellent use of film techniques. I like how you used extended cuts of people who were anti-fracking to make them seem dumb when they can't answer a question. I really enjoyed how you used shorter cuts of people crying sad music to show the other side, because that seems really balanced.
That's the reality.
I was wondering, this is the question part, what made you think that first going towards these people and making them seem like it's an anti-fracking thing, which was pretty apparent from the way the footage was presented, and then turning the tables was a good idea, and also if you're against the way the media is doing these things, and you're against celebrities, and why are you only discrediting the one guy at the source of this movie, which you've said multiple times was already discredited? Where is your proof?
I don't understand that last point you made.
Of course you can.
No, we just say it again. Please say it again. I don't understand.
It's pretty much like, why did you choose to attack a thing that you already said was discredited, and go after the one person that was behind that, which proved very well he was like a person that's not good. And he proved that some people.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I understand that. I don't think that Josh Fox, certainly when I started filming, I don't think he was discredited.
Well,
he was. I don't think he was.
What about the issues?
Okay, you asked me a question. I'm trying to answer. I'm going to go through the various questions you asked. So, I don't think that Josh Fox was discredited. I wouldn't have got involved in this film. I mean, Josh Fox made a fatal error in trying to take me off YouTube, and he did take me off YouTube. But it was a Pyrrhic victory because I'm from Northern Ireland, and basically I'd love to pretend that this film came out of a pure journalistic purpose, but basically I'm from Northern Ireland and no one tells me to shut up is the real motive for this film. I just objected to being told to shut up and someone taking my video off of YouTube. So he is the leader of the anti-fracking movement.
There is no leader. I have no leader.
The figurehead. I know you have no leaders. Yes, yes, and it's obvious. I mean, if you think this documentary is not balanced, I'd love you to add up the minutes given to anti-fracking activists in this film and add up the minutes given to pro-fracking activists in both gaslands. Now, I would say that we give more time to anti-fracking activists in our film than in both gaslands. That would be my point. And I can't read my writing now. You made a third point, which I can't read my writing. Something to do with anti-fracking. Do you remember your third point? No. Okay.
Cool.
This gentleman here.
My name is Austin Rowans. I grew up on a dairy farm and I've been here my whole life. I just want to ask you guys where you're from.
I'm from Dutchess County.
Dutchess County? Dutchess County. Well, we're from so,
I'm glad you guys are here, honestly.
yeah.
Where are you from, sir?
Where am I from? I'm from America. Don't use the word un-American.
And I'm 21. Aside from that, I don't tell you.
Okay, it was, I counted, I have my timer here. It was actually 15 minutes before.
Why don't you get out?
Okay, I would just.
Go back.
Normally, actually, can I just say something? Normally, it's quicker when someone makes an anti-Irish comment towards me. Normally, it's within the first 10 minutes. I will say another thing I was told by liberals when I came over here is that they were tolerant and loved immigrants. But I have to say, it doesn't take long before people descend to anti-Irish, anti-immigrant sentiments when I dare to ask them questions. And it's a very strange way of behaving for someone who seems to like immigrants, who's supposed to, you know, like diversity. They don't like diversity of opinion. They only like immigrants who speak their script. Actually, this gentleman will ask a question. That little lady there. Yes.
I'm from Wayne County, Pennsylvania, just across the river. My own village is in Wayne County, Pennsylvania, Damascus Township. So I lived a few miles. I lived all 62 years of my life in Damascus Township, Wayne County, Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania. We knew the truth about Josh Fox. We knew he was lying from the get-go. That was the foundation the Gasland was built on. The foundation was built on the lie. Number one, he said he owned land. I've been to the Wayne County Courthouse in Homestead many times. Look at the deed to the property. Testified in Trenton, New Jersey, to the fact that he owned not 1 square inch of land. No oil company will offer somebody a lease who owns not 1 square inch of land. I also was very much involved with finding that typo. As an elementary teacher for 36 years, I proofread kids' writings all the time. I found that typo. So I knew that that was a lie and shared that with Mary Typo, who was off the film. Third thing, part of the same lie, the amount of money. Nobody in all of Wayne County was offered that much money per acre. Milanville happens to be in southern Damascus Township where there was less interest in gas. Northern, we were always told Northern Wayne County was more prolific. We would never see the money that they saw in Northern Wayne County. So the whole foundation was based on a lie. We tried for years to get somebody's attention, the media, to listen to us. This is based on a lie. Finally, a fellow came along and listened to us. So now it's known that that whole movie is based on a lie. It's based on the foundation is a lie.
This gentleman here.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for producing this movie. And I'd like to say that I feel that natural gas is the future energy of this country. When you look at the big picture, we have 2020, the time set for to shut down Indian Point, nuclear energy. In place of that, there's plans going into effect in Orange County and the town of Wanda for natural gas generating plant to take place. 2016 is the time for all oil-powered, oil-fired furnaces and everything to be discontinued in New York City, change over to natural gas. Then, just about 2.5 months ago, the Times Record wrote an article about natural gas engines that General Motors is building for their trucks. At this point in time, there's only a network of CNG stations from California through Texas and Oklahoma. Now we're expanding to go all the way to the East Coast and countrywide. When you look at the statistics 50% less maintenance, and 94% less emissions going into the atmosphere. Now, if you're a true environmentalist, digest those numbers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the last question because I think people want to go. And I have to remind you, don't rush out the door because I'm selling DVDs back. I used to be quite a lefty environmentalist, but since I've gone away from that now, I'm a raging capitalist. So there's a wonderful DVD out there for sale. It's only $20. That's what keeps me on the road. So please buy one for your family and your friends, and one for the brother-in-law you hate. You know, things like that. So last question, this gentleman here.
I'm Cornelius Alexei. I live here in Bethel, New York, and I see all of my neighbors and friends here, and I want to remind them that the southern part of Sullivan County, a gentleman has bought some property and has been attempting for over 11 or 12 years to grow mushrooms. He has spent to the tune of $12 million, and he's been stopped from growing mushrooms. Now, when our neighbors here, we turn on our TVs, we see this wonderful commercial that our governor has made about how friendly New York is to business. It's wonderful. It kind of looks like maybe Hawaii or something. It's beautiful scenery, and we're so business friendly.
Yeah.
Put in with the mushrooms.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very important to remember that your competitor in this world is not Saudi Arabia, it's not Iran, it's not Venezuela, it's Pennsylvania, and it's Ohio. If you don't let these, and one thing I agree with Josh Fox and that gentleman at the back is that these are corporate companies interested in making money. And if you don't allow them to make money here, they're going to go somewhere else. So you have a choice to make. And you know, the person who's trying to make mushrooms, you can be sure it's some rich billionaire who's trying to stop them from growing mushrooms. I mean, I don't want to criticize your country, I'm not from here, but you know, you do get a number of things wrong, you know, in this country. I don't want to, for example, one of the big things, you know, light beer. Terrible mistake. I mean, it's just, I don't know where that came from. You know, yeah, exactly, yeah. We should start a campaign with that, you know, no light beer. And I think you spread it to Europe, it's terrible. But all the things you get wrong is that you have the grandsons and sons of oil billionaires stopping other people from using their natural resources. Very strange behaviour. Where I met George Fox at the end, that's the Hammer Museum, Armand Hammer, the chairman of Standard Oil. You know? And that's how they treat people, you know, who might have questions about natural resources. You have another tradition here that I find perplexing is that you pay $100,000 or more to send kids off to college so they can come home and tell you you're evil, you know? So, you know, I think what you need to do is get them before they go off to college, before you spend the money. You need to go and buy a DVD now and get it into the local schools. And where they show Gasland, they need to show FrackNation, as someone said, in the interest of fairness and balance. Buy a DVD, give it to your local school, tell them, show Gasland, and then show this the next week. I'm confident that this film will stand up against Gasland when children watch it, because children are very honest. And they appreciate honesty, and I'm confident that there's honesty in this. Don't be rushing away too quickly now, you have to buy a DVD, and let's go out and we'll talk, we'll continue this conversation outside. Thank you.